no fear, it's worth a try.
I lost people over petty shit, I don't regret it. And every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. I have given everything, but it's not enough. Fear, no fear, my heart can't stop. 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 Gives you a meaning to erase your every morning. Just open up your eyes and you'll see that there's a meaning to the love-hate relationship. To the haters that wants that great. I can't hide from my fears no more. I can't hide from my fears no more. I lost people over petty shit. Every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. Giving everything, but it's not enough.
Kiss your words away, do not waste your time. Lingering, pondering, save your space and wine. You are not a tree, just move if you don't like where you are, where you are, where you are. Every time I think about all the things I live without, motivates me, it's a do or die. Fear, no fear, it's worth a try.
I lost people over petty shit, I don't regret it. And every time I think about it, all the time my heart forgives. I have given everything, but it's not enough. Fear, no fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop. No fear, my heart can't stop.
You were like a ransom note. If I give in, will you come home? I'd put everything I had into getting you back. I was only 17, and you were the air I breathed. I walked across a burning bridge for you, for you. Those roads we walked, I'll know forever. Those times we talked, I still remember. Is it not enough that I played with my heart once, twice? If I'm blind to who you are, which of us was behind bars? Were you worth the price I paid? Your ransom.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Belong Arena Clash. Welcome back to the Belong Arena Clash if you're just joining us from our Gears of War action for this evening. But now it's time to move on from the shooty to the drivey scory from Rocket League here for week 3.
I mean, it's still a bit shooty. That's how you get a goal.
Sort of.
But,
It's a different kind of shooty than what we were expecting. Yes, I'm the Eternal J. I'm joined by Digital Bacon for week 3 of our group play. How you doing, man?
I'm doing quite good. I've had a nice little weekend of covering some of the rival series action here. Get a hop into the arena and cover some of the local homegrown talent.
Yes, and some very local homegrown talent that we'll have to take a look at over the course of our 2 best of 5s for the day. But before we get to that, let's bring you up to date on how the tables are looking at this stage. Of course, last week we saw that incredible Spartans versus Claymores match that saw the Spartans, the new boys, beat out last season's champions. They're sitting at 2-0 top of the table. Claymores barely holding on at that top 4 spot this week, Bacon.
Again, Claymores faced Spartans earlier on, so Claymores currently sitting down with 4th. We do still expect them to finish out the season 2nd now, but for a couple of weeks it might be a little bit squiffy. They might have to have a couple of teams ahead of them.
Yeah, and speaking of the teams ahead of them, the Lionhearts will be up on stream first as they look to take on the Lakeside Leviathans here. The Vikings, of course, currently sitting in that second position as the other team in this group that are undefeated, but you can see the Leviathans currently not having the best of seasons, and against the London side, it might not be the best of days for them, but also down there in the completely defeated with the Rams, the Guardians and the Spectres currently sitting at that 1-1 mid-table position, so so a lot of breathing room for a lot of the teams in this group.
Yeah, definitely. We've got to see Spectres last week or the week before, I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it was week 1, and they were a team that you could see had a lot of potential to grow, but it is going to be towards the back half of the season.
Well, let's take a look at the second group for this one, Bacon. Obviously, I don't want to say that's sort of like the B tier, but I think you mentioned before we got into this one.
Group A is stacked. We have to admit
Group A is stacked because of the sheer talent level in those rosters. But this one you said as a bit more of a sort of like a mid-card style of just style of sort of like, you know, competitiveness. So you're expecting a lot of these 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th teams to be sort of in roughly contention with each other.
Yeah, there's only really one team that stands out to me this season. It's the lads on top, the Bristol Brawlers, the new Bristol side, and they have come out swinging. Looking at these players, some impressive names there, and I can't wait to see them on the pitch. Of course, though, we have to talk about the Cardiff Saints. Fantastic return in talent. Norfolk Nighthawks doing quite good. Swarm up there as well, maybe one of those mid-tier teams at this season due to how the Cards have formed up this deck. They might be able to sneak on in and grab that 4th spot.
Well, this is Rocket League and not Yu-Gi-Oh! Well, either way, we're going to get to see the Manchester Swarm and the Bristol Brawlers take each other on in our second match of the night here. But taking a look at the bottom half of this table, the Bears, the Pirates, the Invincibles and the Smugglers. Again, Invincibles and Smugglers. We saw Invincibles in week 1, didn't quite have the best of times. And same thing with the Smugglers, currently sitting at 0-2 at the bottom end of Group 2.
Yeah, who would have thought Group 2 would be bookended by both Bristol sides, a real flip opposite of each other. Quite crazy. No one would have expected that.
Absolutely. Right, well, let's take a look at our first match of the day. As I mentioned it a little bit earlier on, the Lakeside Leviathans taking on the London Lionhearts. You'll recognise a couple of these names on the Lionhearts side. Tagmanta, apparently. That's a beautiful typo. But also we've got Layla in there. Layla you'll know as Balthazar from last season. So the Lionhearts definitely have their returning sort of names. The Leviathans, though, not quite the same level of recognisable talent here, Bacon.
Yeah, I mean, Leviathans, we've got to see them before last season. Lord Taylor, of course, going to be the big standout player for me on that side, and he's got to really guide that team. But he is going to be such a super half graph. When we got London Lionhearts, who, for me, currently, are the 3rd seed, the 3rd ranked highest team in that group. So it's going to be a hard one, but it should be a learning curve for them. And again, that's what you got to look at with a lot of the Arena Clash stuff. If this is growing these players, really expanding their horizons down the line. Lionhearts, this would be a nice little tester, try out some new tricks, come up with a few strategies. Leviathans, because of that, might be able to find a little kink in the armor, find a little flaw in them if they're trying out some of these new strats.
I don't know, at this kind of a level, the skills or the individual sort of rankings and skills really matter in a lot of these squads, and unfortunately for the Lakeside side, they have got they've got a platinum player in their ranks, unfortunately, which not to take massive stock in that which of the ranks themselves, but again, at this kind of a level, it is very important. And and I just can't see a way in for them, unfortunately. You know, I like your enthusiasm here, Bacon, but the truth is that this is a side that we've rated as sort of like mid-table, sort of like semi-final positions in the playoffs, in the Lionhearts versus a team who we haven't seen much of before, who have a very differential, a very different sort of like disparity, is that the right word for it? Disparity, there you go. A disparity in their ranking sort of, in their rankings as a whole. So, like, taking a look at some of these players, you know, Lord Taylor's going to have to be the man to step up if they want to have anything to do with the London Lionhearts.
Yeah, it's going to come down all to wicked team plays here, Jay, because that's how you form that sort of gap. Yes, you said about the plat player on the pitch, whereas you're going up against the Lionhearts who... they're all GCs. They're all very well-accomplished players. Like, we've seen taggers basically rule the roost of the one scene in the UK for quite a while. And they're going to just have to use each other, use that communication, use knowledge of the game to be able to patch up their errors, their little mistakes, which they will make. But like I said, for me, I look at this as a training experience for them, and they still do have the chance to make it in fourth. Like, look at this group. I'm going to say it right now, from what we've seen of York so far, they are not invincible. They're not the easy fourth team. So, I mean, they're going to be a little bit cautious as we do get to see Leviathans take the pitch as they are right now. They're all hopping into the server. So, Jay, quick predictions here, buddy.
I got to go 3-0 London, you know, just because of the nature of that side. You know, as you say, it's going to be nice to be a learning experience for the Lakeside squad. You know, it's not going to be one where they'll be able to take this win, but they can download the demos, they can watch the VODs, and they can look back over their individual experiences, and they can try and figure out, well, where do we go from here? How can we improve? Because this is a side where you'll be looking to improve with their sort of practice more than anything else.
Yeah, I can definitely admit that. I wouldn't be surprised, the 3-0 is pretty much on the cards right now as teams are just getting underway here. Let's head on to the pitch. Ben, our lovely broadcaster, take it away.
And I'll take it away with the commentary as well. On the orange side of the field, it's the Lionhearts. In the blue side, it's Lakeside. Ironic, actually, because like these are like among my top 3 closest clubs closest to my house. But either way, Lionhearts with that first goal. Pretty predictable stuff here, pressuring that backboard and playing away from where Big Watters was really expecting the ball to be out.
Again, this is the lad which we expect to learn the most probably through these games, and just handed the ball over. Needed to take it off to the side. Arguably, you want to try and keep it close to the walls, the furthest sort of like distance from the net, but that... no words for that. Just masterpiece. Work of art here.
What is the twirlies and everything? Wow. Like, you can tell Lionhearts know where they stand in this series, Bacon. Like, the 2-0 already. Another shot to the crossbar. That won't go inside, but Tag is there to take control. Backboard again, leaving it for Layla to go high off the crossbar and follow suit back into the box, but in the end the clears from the Leviathans will be in check. Lionhearts at least going to get a little bit of pressure to that backboard, but only really one player there to go for a shot here. Dino Perillo only goes so far with this one for the blue side.
Yeah, I don't expect any disrespect to come out from the Lionhearts.
Except for those 2 goals.
Kickoff goals, Jay. That's just what happens, because you can see they're not that great on defense. Lionhearts have always been a team about attack, about that power, but in defense they can get a little bit frustrated, a little bit flustered, so you got to be careful there, as we do expect Leviathans maybe to be able to get a few good goals on in.
Tag Matter into the corner, Layla there to receive the pass. Big Watters get challenged again, follows suit again from Dino. Riyama moving up to the sideboard, challenged again by Lord Taylor into the midfield, and Layla will move up to take control. She also picks up that 100 points of boost, leaving it into the centre line. Awkward back pass, that leaves it pretty open, and a beautiful shot coming in from Layla. She goes 3-0 up for the Lionhearts.
Another great shot on target there. Again, this is what I was talking about a little bit about respect, making sure to put the ball right up in the top right corner, knowing that opponents are good enough to make any bog standard save, so just putting straight in the corner, going to be the hardest to save naturally, but also that defense will learn from that. I love this right now.
They're going to take control once again from this corner, leaving it to Riyama in the end to the backboard for the dunk down chance. It goes right there into Tag Matter, and a beautiful shot once again to control the pacing and control the placement of the Lakeside Leviathans. And when you control the placement of your opposing team, that's where things really start to crumble.
Yeah, Riyama had tons of time up in the air there. You wouldn't see that high-end play where you would get a player up in the air to cancel them out, to basically try and intercept that ball, stop the pass up to center, or near enough intercept that pass at the very least. A little bit like that from Taggers, being able to just hold on to it, block out any effective pressure or play that's building up. And this is something which Leviathans are going to have to learn throughout this series, try and cut them on out. Oh, not too bad there.
Good block by Watters at least, that's not too bad. Continuing the pressure here for the Lionhearts, the Leviathans can only get so far on decent defensive, and unfortunately the defensive is just not decent enough. Rihanna gets that 5th goal in for the Lionhearts. 5-0 for the orange side of the court.
So the biggest change that needs to come through in the defense here, Jay, is Leviathans naturally from that lower level are reacting to the ball. You've got to predict it. You've got to think 2, 3, even 4 steps ahead. 4 seconds ahead is a long time in Rocket League, and if you can predict it correctly, you're going to be so much faster to the play, save a lot of boost, and be a lot safer.
Well, decent kickoff starts for the Leviathans. In fact, Lord Taylor going to get another shot, but a decent block coming in from the Lionhearts all the same, and Layla will chase that downfield. Blocked up again by Big Watt, who's challenged by Rihanna. Layla is there to disrupt as she puts it very close, leaving a tag Mata in the midfield, who is too far back in the midfield to really go up for the shot and punish the very scrambled defensive from the Leviathans. Wants to try and maintain control and hold some sort of recovery presence here, but now Lionhearts are just playing experimental here, just getting aggressive up in the aerial shots and the aerial passes, which I haven't seen many aerial passes per se in Rocket League history.
No, they're trying to pull that out right now with lots of predicted plays on the attack. That's why they're so dominating, but you see Layla going up very early for it, hoping that the ball turns up because they know they can keep a lot of pressure downfield.
Lovely backflip from Layla. Rihanna goes back over to the midfield. Ball set up. Tag Mata also challenging the second player. Watters in with a shot that Layla should be able to take control of, beating out 2 of the offending Leviathans guys. Pinch over from the corner. Chris will also go out to the left-hand side of the field. Rihanna passing down into open space. Lord Taylor goes out from the corner. Tag Mata can be there to receive it. Dino goes in for a decent shot. He just bounced out from that corner board, and Big Watters with a big miss. Layla also feels backflip, but she actually fakes out Lord Taylor. This can actually work out really well for her. Oh, Layla, 6-0. And if the Lionhearts scoreline wasn't embarrassing enough, that play may just add a little bit extra to the bump as well.
I
just
saw
gets
it.
better on the replay.
We had the long view cam, and I was just there like, did she actually go for the bump there? I don't know. Was that like another little tactical whiff where you're just throwing around the ball to confuse your opponents? What happened there? Get up close and personal with a camera and you can see the beauty that was.
60 seconds. And I think game 1 is done, Bacon. I mean, I don't like to be the pessimist, although I do actually like to be the pessimist.
It felt like you could call game 1 after 10 seconds. I'm just going to say those 2 opening goals, which were absolutely nuts. Yeah, we knew how this game was going to go, but the Leviathans just have not been able to get started. They have no answers. They have no clue of how to solve this puzzle that is going up against London Lionhearts.
And earlier in the matchup, and during the pre-game especially, we were talking about sort of like the learning experience for the Leviathans. Like, what are they able to take away from just this game 1 alone to take a look into not only just the rest of this series, but also the rest of the season going forward?
They need to keep the ball a lot closer to themselves. Notice they'll always overextend the ball a little bit. Watch Big here. Just hit the ball up in the air. He's lost it. He can't keep control of that. Yes, it's hit back into the midfield, and it is good to try and draw it in. But as soon as they get a touch on the ball, it's straight off to one of the Lionhearts. You can't be doing that. You're going up against a team that is above you mechanically and a lot faster than you, definitely beating you to a lot of plays. Try and keep it close to yourself, dribble, and maybe have a second player run into shadow so that you can try and keep a lot more possession, because without possession, you're not going to be able to get down the opposite end of the field and put shots on target.
And unfortunately, this is one of those cases where, of course, the team formation is also a bit of a problem. That's just something we can't really help, to be honest, especially when you're sort of like a new team that formed up specifically for this tournament. And in the case of the London Lionhearts, where they're very experienced GC players, where they're very experienced sort of as a team together. Like, I think Taggers and Layla have been playing together for all 3 seasons so far in the Lionhearts. So you know, that chemistry just gets built over time. So in the case of the Lakeside side, they can't really do too much at this moment in time to build up that chemistry, except just keep playing together.
Yeah, definitely. It's all just going to take time, and it's a harsh reality of what the Arena Clash is. It's open to everyone, isn't it? And it's all about not only taking part in competition, getting that esports experience, but making friends and, you know, trying to improve all the different games that are on offer. So unfortunately, it's going to be a hard graft here today, and you know you got to take the wins as a couple of goals here for the Leviathans. But you know they're going to be able to take what they learn, take those VODs, learn from their mistakes, and then go into their ranked games and you know improve from that plat player into diamond, maybe even up into the champs.
Well, maybe if we can keep going forward with this series, and we can potentially give a few more tips and tricks, potentially not just for the Lakeside Leviathans, but also for the general audience at home.
In the break, earlier on, we were talking about just like, oh, what if we had like a whiteboard right here that could draw out and everything like that.
So here you see the corner, right, and then you sort of just do a rotate, okay? Go out
circles
to the midfield.
everywhere.
Exactly. I would have set that up. Whoever's at the back right now, if you just want to like get that whole whiteboard thing set up for me, that would just be absolutely brilliant. Anyway, ready to get into the game. Let's take a look at how well the Leviathans will be able to adjust for the Lionhearts. Inside this corner to start things off, Layla, the Eagle, with the tag Manta. Oh, what a shot. And the first being scored by the Lionhearts.
Tag Manta definitely being able to receive what is a beautiful pass up again. Lord Taylor just ever so close to reading it well. But
Can we call Taggers Tag Manta every time he just goes absolutely ham? He is the Tag Manta.
He is.
Well, Leviathans in with a decent shot off the back of kickoff phase 2. But Ryama can't hold the midfield control. So a couple of decent touches coming in from the Leviathans, seeing the slight adjustments come out against the Lionhearts side, but this touch from Lord Taylor's will not allow any sort of control for the rest of the Leviathans. The midfield just challenged by Lionhearts. Layla takes it in with 100 boost picked up at that midfield. Going to try and challenge Lord Taylor's. Very beautiful stuff coming in. Again, sets up the shot. A little bit late from Ryama though, so no cigar in this one.
Yeah, and the problem, I just called it out, there was no aggression on Sabul, so Layla was able to easily spend time with it, go for boost, and then come back for a second to bite of the cherry. The Leviathans got to be a little bit snappier, just pick up the ball and direct it away from the Lionhearts.
Big Waxers with a big miss, Dino all the same. Layla's going to bump him out of the way. Challenged again by Tag Mata into that corner. Big Waxers also contested to the backboard. Big misses all up and down the shot, and that could have been very scary, but Layla will still take control, pass it to Tag Mata. Caught flat-footed and flipping about inside the box. That's it. In the end, that'll still be a save for Ryama, and Tag Mata will finally clear out. Ryama going to try and follow this suit against Dino. Again, only going so far with this one, and it seems like the Lionhearts are giving away a lot of control for the Leviathans. Okay.
Imagine that!
If that had been the shot, that would have been goal of the week right there.
That is literally pulling your opponent on in to use them to get a goal. Nearly there with the demo attempt. We'll just get a pretty basic, bog standard follow-up. But oh, that right there, the slowdown for Ryama, the demo from Layla, I know it ends up setting up this goal, but that was such a great idea.
You ever heard that, what was that podcast about NBA players, like the greatest players who never won like a season? And it's like, well, the greatest goals in Rocket League that never were actually goals. That's one of them right there. 2-0.
I feel like you could get like one episode at most from that podcast, to be honest. It's an annual podcast. We look over the could-be goals of the year. There's like three or four.
I don't know. I think you can go quite far with it, to be honest. Like, you know, take a look at half the saves that the Soeko Zulu are having in DreamHack, and it's like, you know, you've got some decent contenders out there. But back to the London Lionhearts versus Lakeside Leviathans.
I mean, you take
2-0.
I'm just going to say last Insomnia with the Belong finals there.
Oh god,
Jeez,
yeah,
we had
that
so
too.
many.
The shot down from Layla in the end. The pressure again from the Lionhearts going in against the Leviathans. A 3-0 start once again for the capital city.
Sorry, what animal is that on the profile pic? is that a hamster? A tiny dog?
It's like a squirrel, it might be, to be honest.
I don't know. Twitch chat, what is it? I would love to see all the possibilities Twitch chat could come up with. It is a hybrid of the both. It is a
I don't know.
Damster.
I don't know. We'll find out as time goes on. I guess we'll have some other decent looks, because I think right now Layla is the top scorer for the London Lionhearts. So we should be able to see a few more glimpses of that picture. Indeed she has, and she'll continue to pressure up. Nice open goal, flick up, second touch. You gotta love it. You have to love it. 4-0 for the Lionhearts
It's like
And I'm
slow
thinking-
motion.
I'm thinking that might be a squirrel that's just really zoomed in, to be honest.
Am I allowed to take on my headset and just go up to the monitor and just like put my face to it to see?
I'll give you permission for this. I don't know
Okay.
if they'll let you do so, but either way. 4-0 for the Lionhearts. 2 minutes on the clock. Jesus. He's gonna go check it. He's gonna go check it. He's checking it. He's got the headset off. He's running. He's looked in front of it. What do you got? What do you got, Bacon? He says there's a squirrel as well. There you go. 5-0. I also realised you literally just stuck your face right against that monitor and was just like, you know,
It was so pixelated, I couldn't really get the best. And oh, there's another. I could go back for seconds, but I think maybe we'll pass. I'm trying to sort out the cable on this headset.
But 6-0, another similar scoreline for the Lionhearts. Hoping, I think you want to see some Dalmatians in these games, don't you?
I mean, I just want to see Leviathans get a goal, and the Dalmatians would result in that. So 10-1? Definitely. With 2 minutes left, you could see that result.
Right now, the Leviathans are getting memed upon by the Lionhearts and by the caster's desk, apparently. Waters challenged right into the hands of Lord Taylor on the rotation. So at least they have some decent rotations here, Bacon. A consolation prize and nothing else, and it's a decent basis to build off of if you're a Leviathans member. Inside this corner, they've got to find some sort of way to break out of their half because the pressure from the Lionhearts has certainly been abundant. Back passes like that from Dino might not be the best of decision making here.
You talk about those rotations, they have actually stepped up. Each of the players has got a little bit more space, and as I say that, Taylor gives, I think that was Waters a little love bump from behind. Got to be careful of those. But you'll notice their attacks, their build-ups are actually getting a lot further downfield, and they are doing better. The problem is with that space, they're a little bit more fragile on defense. They're not as many men in front of the net covering as much area.
Well, 60 seconds, and Tagamata will score the 7th on the board. Pretty simple stuff again with the pressure. I think a 4-man commit coming through from everybody on the in that net.
A 4-man commit?
Yeah. Like between Lionheart
Oh,
and the
two from each side, okay.
Yeah, something like that.
I was about to say, has it got to the point where the Leviathans are allowed a handicap an extra man? I would love to see
I'm
that.
sure there's something in the rules that says otherwise, but we can confirm that with Action Dom later. Either way, shot in from Riyama to the left-hand side of the net. Tagamata will take this one high off the backboard. Riyama with a bit of a big miss there, but inside the midfield nonetheless. Played out by Waters. This could be an open net opportunity. Oh, he's got it! Big Waters completing the meme. 7-1 on the board, and the Lionhearts will still maintain a lead. But you know, you talked a little bit in the pre-game about whether or not they'd be able to, you know, punish some of those, punch some kinks in the armor. Well, there's one for you.
There we go. Some overcommitments where they're not rotating the whole way back, and they do get caught downfield. Again, we haven't seen that been punished. Who knows? Maybe a second chance later, cutting out on the midfield. Does good to pick up the boost as well, and so can. That is graceful AF.
Graceful dribbling in the air. And a good shot with power behind it as well from Taggers. Even if they can't score their 8th goal, it won't matter too much. There's 13 seconds on the clock, and even if they get this consolation back from the Leviathans, there will be no way to reverse the situation. It will be 2-0 on the board. Match point for the London Lionhearts. Lakeside Leviathans, unfortunately, just I mean, it's kind of the way that we expected things to go, Bacon. So you can't be too disappointed, I don't think, you know, especially when you consider, you know, again, from the perspective of the Leviathans, you're facing up against one of the longest established cores in the Arena Clash.
Yeah, like I said, they just got to take it. It's not the game on stream they would have wanted. They would have much rather, you know, going up against someone like the Rams on stream, of course, naturally. But we try and get everyone as we can on stream, and unfortunately, schedules sometimes just fall this way. I mean, we've seen it with Gears of War quite... For the first 2 weeks, it was not pretty. I'm just going to say that right now.
We're all sitting in the back, just like, watching those matches like 30 seconds per round. It was brilliant.
We're like, we finally found a game that's quicker than Rocket League to get through. Blimey, it is a rare sight.
Well, speaking of games that are quick to get through, it looks like this one might be a quick one as well here, Bacon. A 3-0 seeming like it's on the cards for the Lionhearts.
Yeah, definitely right now. Like we said, we've already got 1 goal from the Leviathans. I'd like them to step up, get 2, you know, just show that signs of improvement. We have seen that sign through their rotations. They definitely are building up. They're getting an idea of, okay, this is where we've got to be. So that's great for the mental aspect of it. They just got to take, yes, the losses this week and go forward, go, okay, what do we learn? If this can beat the higher level teams, you know, to get a goal or two, well, then up against the lower level teams, like I said, the Rams against the Guardians, well, you're going to be able to get more than 1 or 2 goals. You're going to be able to just stomp them at that point.
We'll see how well they can stomp as we go to game number 3 of this best of 5 series. Probably going to be the last game, unfortunately, in this case. But again, Leviathans, a couple of pointers to look into as this one goes on here, as we see the kickoff already going towards that blue box. Plays in from Rihanna, will find that first shot on target. Leviathans, a decent block out from Big Watters. Lord Taylor also demoed outplay in from Layla. Tag Matter with a back pass into the blue net.
Yeah, what a pass this was, I'm just saying. How are you meant to defend that? Positioning was initially correct because they would have expected a big punch from downfield. The pass up to the side, they all watched it and went, okay, what do we do up in this corner? Watter's not going to be able to get past taggers there, but it was just such a perfect little redirect on down, definitely into the high parts, the top shelf of net, which is just purely free for taggers to follow up onto. You can see Lionhearts have got their groove on.
As you would expect in the context of this series, a good couple of plays out, and Big Watters trying to find another chink in the armour. We saw him score that 1 goal earlier on in game 2. Here in the first minute of game 3, no such goals will be found. It's just, again, midfield control for Rihanna, Layla there to back him up. Tag Matter comes in from the back lines instead and goes for a quick boom back downfield, unable to be received by the Lionhearts, but Lakeside Leviathans can't get control either, so the passing plays continue. Out from this corner, Demo's in against Big Watters. And Leviathans will do their best to hold some sort of control, but outside that box, good pitches in, 2 players there to take it out of the way. And Lord Taylor will flick it up, but right into the hands of Tag Matter, so no real play that they can work with here. But the defensive and counter-attack and clearing potential as well from Leviathans starting to look a little bit more competent here.
And definitely decision-making there. Lord Taylor knew that he was losing control of the ball, so he just decided to throw that away, buy a little bit of time, and rotate back into defense. In those cases, it is the correct answer because he had no boost to work with. Well done.
In the improvement from the Leviathans, but unfortunately, with the talent level of the Lionhearts, it may have come in a little bit too late. Still got a goal to make up, however, in this game 3. As Layla moves in with ball control, beaten out in the end by a Leviathans defender. Passed up to, though, backboard plays in towards Rihanna, and Rihanna with the semi-sort of pass fake thing going on with the Lionhearts side. We'll get 2-0 in on the board.
Yeah, Demo's coming out there. Lord Taylor removed, so no one in net. Easy follow-up from Rihanna. And you got to think, those sort of goals, you have to give a lot of credit over to taggers to remove that man. If you didn't do that, that'd been a save, and we'd still be playing on.
Layla out to the corner board at the back of the kickoff. Lionhearts again just pressuring in against the Leviathans. Tigers off the ceiling, going for the shot. Good save indeed from Dino, so at least the back line is mostly covered, but still forcing some mistakes out from the Lionhearts side. Rihanna sets the upper Tag Matter, takes it back over to Rihanna. Control the dribble out to Taylor, sorry, not Taylor, Layla, excuse me. Wrong.
It did dribble out to Taylor. It wasn't what he was hoping for, but that's what happened. Oh, and there is the dunk through. Oh, Rihanna.
Bit overzealous there, I think, from Big Watters, but Rihanna will turn that around and punish it, and that's not going to get blocked by anyone from Lakeside Leviathans. 3-0 for the Lionhearts.
They held off for so long with Leviathans. For a whole 2 minutes, it was only on 1 goal. They really put up a good midfield defense, but as soon as the pace, a lot of long shots came on through from the Lionhearts, they're able to break through that, and now you're starting to see the Leviathans jump at the ball because they're worried. They're trying to lunge on in, and you can see they're being ragged right
bump.
here. This is crazy.
Bumped each other. Ugh. Nah, that's a shame. So good though, so good. 4-0 for Lionhearts. Lakeside Leviathans, unfortunately, just I mean, what more do you say? I mean, at the end of the day, again, the best thing we can do for them right now is try and give some decent pointers as to where they can go from here, because they've got some foundation. It's not like the worst team in the world right now. They've got, considering their rankings, having a decent old time with a couple of mistakes being placed out here. Just not punished there from Lord Taylor on that particular backboard pass.
It's definitely a lot of call-ins on that play right there. I think it was Perio, sorry, he hit the ball, went high above the net, but if he was called off by Lord Taylor's, he would have been able to get a goal himself. And it's just all about, I don't want to say being greedy, but just call him when you're in a better position over your teammates. At the moment, Leviathans are all there, like, I'm first to the ball, I've got to get that hit, because they're worried about the pace of the game.
5-0, Lionhearts again control inside this blue half. Riyama going for a passive little dribble play. Well, their Leviathans will take it away from him. It will still be placed up and over into the midfield for the Lionhearts overall. Taking Mata, teeing it off. 50 points a boost for him. Flick back to the sideboard initially, passing back over to one of his teammates, of which Layla is there to receive the demo in. Does take someone out of the play for the Lionhearts, but again, it's opened up a lot of breathing room for Layla, who won't be able to get her shot in. But 60 seconds on the clock, it has stalled for time against the Leviathans, and virtually an impossible situation to recover here, Bacon. Let's see what they can do in the last 60 seconds of the game.
And a little tip just there, we just saw they're just sticking around the ball, trying to hug onto it, where he was trying to cause pressure, but with 0 boost, he would have been better off just going back to his own half of the field, grab some of the small pads, even a 100 if he could get a hold of it, and then just forming up once again. There's way too much of an urgency to stick around the ball when sometimes you just got to know when you're beaten that you're not going to gain anything off it. You want to keep those rotations solid rather than the possession in those cases.
Riyama off the backboard pass in from Layla to Tang Mata. Unfortunately, Cone Man can't get there, and he misses on the rotation to the box. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Oh dear indeed. Who knows, Lionhearts, can they redeem themselves for that one and turn it into a Brazil? In 17 seconds, I throw the challenge down for them.
Be tough. It will certainly be a challenge.
Sometimes life is hard, okay? Like, there's a ball in front of you and you just can't get near it.
Can't get the urge to just boot it downfield and go for a kickoff. Either way, no matter how much you want to try, it will not end up being a goal for the Leviathans or the Lionhearts. It will be a 5-1 game 3, a 3-0 series for the capital city. Yeah, that was kind of as expected there, Bacon. And again, there's nothing to take away from the Leviathans, but just in the end, it was going to be a victory for the Lionhearts, and just down to their sheer talent,
It was. Like, these are lads that have been around the community and the bubble scene since near inception of Rocket League. Like, Tuggers is known as the Cone Man because he's got that sort of persona within the scene. He has been around for so long, and you've just got to accept that sometimes you're going up against, tougher opponents, lads that are stronger than you, that know the game better than you, and sometimes you've got to go in and just accept that it is going to be a loss. It's a harsh fact of life, and it's just one of those things. It's horrid.
At the end of the day, though, the Leviathans, we saw them slowly adjusting as the series went on. So there's also credit in that respect, some sort of favour to take away from that one. You can't always just leave it down to just, oh, hey, they were better and call it a day. But, they actually had some, some points to improve upon. I think, all in all, they've actually done a decent job, considering, the disparity within ranks.
Yeah, like I said earlier, they were adapting. They were changing up their rotations, making sure that they had more space between them. They weren't all clustered up. They definitely were when it came to the online defense at the end. I think that's just a little bit of a panic setting on in because naturally they've got lads that are hitting the ball at their net at such high paces and from so high where they're just not used to receiving balls from. So it's just all a scramble of, where should I be? In front of the net, just jump at it, hope, And that's just one of those things with level of Rocket League. But like like they always say, you learn more in defeat than you do from a win. So hopefully, like I said, they've saved all those VODs. They can go back and just go, oh, this is what Lionhearts were doing, you know, in their rotations. Great little passing plays where they're calling where each other are. You saw the Lionhearts actually steal a lot of boost away as the macro management of the game, so it just made it a little bit slower on the Leviathan end. And then the Leviathans can just go away, go, okay, so we need to make sure they're not taking our boost away, or if they are, we just go in and change our rotations, our routing around the pitch, so we're going for the small pads, so it's not hurting us as bad.
Well, in the end, it will still be a Lionheart victory, so they walk away with another big win on their board, continuing to press the issue and potentially challenge their eastern front of the Stratford Spartans, of course, and we'll see whether or not that'll actually end up coming to fruition as the season goes on. For now, though, we're going to hop over to Group 2, where we have the Brawlers taking on the Swarmers, our second best of 5 for the night. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this very short break.
Why can't you stay with me? I just like to hold on to all the memories. It doesn't hurt me anymore. I want you, don't want you to leave. You stay with me. I want you, don't want you to leave. You stay with me. I want you, you. Trying to get to your love, but you say it's too late. You got inside my head. It doesn't hurt me anymore. I want you, don't want you to leave. You stay with me. I want you, don't want you to leave. You stay with me. I want you, you. You have to know I want you. Don't want you to leave, you stay with me. I want you, don't want you to leave, you stay with me. I want you, you. Oh, I want you.
Welcome back to the Arena Clash. Welcome to our second series of the night as we take a look at the Brawlers taking on the Swarm side. Bacon, I'm the Eternal Dre, this is Digital Bacon in case you weren't aware. An interesting little series to start things off, a pretty one-sided one for the Lionhearts, but it was as expected, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's just like we said, we thought the Leviathans would be able to get a couple more goals out there, but Lionhearts this season, they just seem to absolutely have things locked on down as a team in attack. Defense, though, we have seen a couple of problems from them there, didn't we?
Indeed, we did, but problems are not quite their main sort of worries at the moment. Again, our main worry is going to be the Manchester Swarm taking on the Bristol Brawlers. Let's take a look at those boys right now. Let's have a look at those lineups and see who we've got to work with. This is not the same Bristol City. I think this is Bristol Cribs in particular. So
yes.
not the sat nav, not the sat nav Ryan sort of lineup that we saw from last season. This time there's two Bristols, which is going to get very confusing as the season goes on here, Bacon. But you can see them and who they are. They got the Swarm side, Luke, Dudge, Swinty Jr., GM667, and Geordie, Lobster, and Animal over on those Brawlers side.
Yeah, the Brawlers this season are scary. The one I'm going to say watch out for is Animal, because I love when a player lives up to their name, because on the pitch, he is an animal. It's going to be great seeing him in action. For the Swarm, don't know much about these lads. Just going to put it straight out there. These are a couple of newcomers to the Manchester side. Luke, Dude, is probably for me going to be the one I'm going to look out for most, but we have to see. Like Swarm, they have got a tough game here again.
Really, I was going to say Squinty Jr. because he's the GC one in this lineup.
Yeah, for me, like it's not all about GC for me. For me here, it's going to be the middleman. So, of course, Squinty is going to be the sort of pseudo-captain, if you want, but also by his mechanics, I expect him to get up and attack a lot more. For me, it comes down to, okay, what is the second man going to do? Are they going to decide to work as a little bit of a duo, you know, go for that power play attack? Or will Luke go full back into defense and try and take that as a stronghold, allowing the third man to the team, don't know who they're going to be summoning on in or placing in today, and just see, like, are they just going to be allowed to run rampant around the pitch, try and find their spot to fill in, or is there actual, like, team strats here? This is what we like to learn as we come into these series.
Hopefully a bit more of, I guess you could get quality for the Bristol side, as they are all GC, so maybe a bit more of a cohesive team element, but we'll have to find out whether or not that will actually end up being the case as we go to our first game of this best of 5 here. Bacon, quick predictions, actually knowing all Bristol?
Probably a 3-0, I think, in favour of Bristol Brawlers. Seeing what these lads have been doing so far this season, I think this will be a 3-0 and probably 1-2 goal differentials.
Well, we kick things off. The Swarm are in the orange and the Brawlers are in the blue.
Home colours, I like
Dude going for that shot in that will be denied by Geordie in the early part of this one. The Brawlers have It's certainly been met on terms of the pacing for this one so far, but the block I've seen from Luke Dude might not be looking so confident as Animal almost got close to going for the shot. Geordie will actually pass into open space and try to set up one of his teammates. Brawlers caught in the rotations though, so back over to the defensive, and yeah, a bit of a double commit coming out. A shot even in towards the box here, but the turnaround will also return the Animal going for his shot once again. Luke Dude there to deny.
Yeah, you're starting some very odd starts of both sides. Brawlers' communication a little bit squiffy in defense, but their attacks are impressive. Swarm on the opposite end were able to hold off, and their counterplay did put a little bit of fear in Brawlers. So, interesting start.
Ball in the midfield, backboard play coming out from Luke Dude. No response and no secondary follow-up, I guess you could say, from the Swarm. The Brawlers, however, quickly returning back. Good shot coming in. That's beautifully done from Geordie to score the first in with Lobster able to support.
Yeah, Lobster, great little play, putting it up high, and Geordie just really quick back onto the ball, making sure there's not enough time for defenders to get in place, and just a quick little 1-2 play. Earlier on I said you've got to be quicker than that for the Swarm, and this is exactly why. That is why you've got to be quick there, because it means the defender can't get into place.
Good block up again from Lobster and Geordie there. The shot coming through from Luke Dude as we save once again. The Brawlers pressured in their own half. The Swarm desperately trying to look for a goal back here. They realise that they're at the disadvantage. Luke Dude does come up for a decent shot down, but the dunk will not be allowed. Squinty also contests, and Stickman puts it back into the midfield. Animal backward play. Lobster going to try and see if he can swing in fast. Can we take it to the corner instead? Followed up by Geordie to the backboard. 3 minutes on the clock, and so far Bristol Brawlers have only been able to score that first one. They've been trying desperately to get a second in, and there it is coming in from Animal, eventually just baiting everybody to that left-hand side, using that backboard play to go into the centre line. A 2-0 will be back on the board.
Again, it all started from that odd hit that many would find odd hit from Lobster. You know, where he's right up in the air and hit right into the corner, and that's all because he was looking to keep control of the ball, keep possession for his team. They just go up for a second attempt, and this time it connects. Sometimes you don't need to hit the ball straight on target, straight on net. As long as you're keeping possession and can keep up the attack, you'll finally find it.
Well, the saves coming in from the Swarm side. This time they're the ones being pressured in their half. Brawlers continuing to come up against this corner and backboard. Lobster will play up and over. Animal going to try bump Squinty out of the way, but it'll only go so far with this one as Geordie goes up. Nice open net. I thought Animal was going to get the second touch in. I actually pinched off the back of the crossbar, so out the half-time marker, it's a third scored by the Brawlers.
Oh, what a pinch that was. Great accuracy on it as well. Sometimes they just connect. I don't know if Geordie planned it. He definitely planned for the ball to be pushed downfield and be threatening. Sometimes you just guess they're on target, and here he's reaped the rewards. You've got to be a little bit risky, a little bit ambitious on the ball.
Lobster setting up Animal as well to try to follow suit. Again, the backboard plays. Animal can't quite get his secondary touch in, but they'll continue to challenge for this. Good Geordie.
And I said about earlier on for the Leviathans, you don't need to stick around on the ball. Look at Geordie there. He does get the bump on his way out, but he knows he's just got to get straight back to the side of his pitch, get some boost, and then come back. Look at Lobster right now. He's left. He's allowing his teammate to come on in, and now it's his turn to rotate on into the ball. You've got to know when to hand it on over and just get out of place.
Ball up, challenged again off the ceiling crease. Animal will be the backup for the Brawlers, but Swarm trying to hold the defensive. They need to get a final clear back down the field, and so far no such opportunities are being presented to them here. Bacon, ball up again for Geordie. He misses out, but the double commit there from the Swarm. Bit awkward on the defense. Lobster now contesting once again here. Ball gets set up. Geordie will challenge onto Squinty's position, but in the end it was Squinty winning out that touch. A three-man commit from two players on the Swarm side and one of the Brawlers. In the end it's Animal there with the defensive, followed up, actually missed out by Lobster, but Geordie still passes up to his main man, missing on that secondary receive. So corner play, Swarm holding control. Brawlers unable to score that fourth, but if they can keep the pressure going, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for them.
Yeah, the problem is now they've got to follow up. He knows how straight into the Brawlers' arms and responded back. Lob's not able to get to it, not quick enough, and shots not accurate at all. Swarm, thank their lucky stars, otherwise this would be 4-0 right now. But yeah, Swarm, they got to use each other. It's a lot of just solo plays out. They've got to start passing, using up two players to get downfield, and then they'll be able to hold on to it. Oh, okay.
That pinch is going in. All right then. Officially, it's Luke Dude scoring, but I think I saw a blue trail, so technically an own goal from Lobster. Yeah, a first on the board for the Swarm. An unexpected pinch though there, Bacon, so I don't know how much you can take away in terms of stock there from the Swarm side.
I'm gonna that is all on Geordie there. Like I said earlier, leave the ball. You don't need to keep hassling it because he's stuck on it. He caused the pinch. He wasn't. The only time you can stick on it is if you are literally trying to force a 50-50 and you're blocking route to net. Geordie was on the wrong side, so it allows the pinch and then directs it in net.
Ball up here for Geordie again. You're going to get teed off. Luke Dude, sideboard bounce. Contested again by the Swarm side, but in the end it's Brawlers. Finding that clear, not finding their fourth, but it won't matter too much. Luke Dude will just keep this one alive for the moment here. Lobster also going for the similar sort of scenario. Play it up and out, and in the end will not go much further than just this ball touching the floor. So, Brawlers, nice, confident-ish sort of start in this one, Bacon. I saw you holding your hands up in the air a couple of different times over the course of that one.
A couple of mistakes coming out.
Yeah, a couple of mistakes. I think that's pretty natural at this stage. But to be honest, Brawlers, 3-1, not a bad scoreline.
No, definitely not. And if, well, like you said, putting my hands up in the air every now and then, they were mainly at Brawlers, weren't they? They weren't like, I'm not going for the Swarm, oh, you're trashing off. It's more Brawlers. You had great opportunities there. They're just getting a little bit overambitious. We saw how often they were getting to the ball too early. They had space. They had time. It's all about patience.
Yeah.
You know, you don't need to rush to the ball every single time. If they had just waited, say, 1 second, they would have had a good shot at net. We saw way too many in front of goal balls where they was just a little bit too high, and so they missed the opportunity. That could have been, with Brawlers learning a bit of patience, even a 6-1 game, and that's, we don't want to see that side of so much of a variance there between the two teams, but it just shows that the Brawlers have a lot of potential growth in them, and that's crazy right now, because those little mental aspects of slowing down, knowing when to pick up pace, are pretty easy in the grand scheme of things to learn. It's much easier than mechanical skills anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, I'd say so. I have to basically agree with you on that on all that basis. So, right now the Brawlers are coming out on top because of all those things. So, the skill differential, very obvious, I think. Ball up from Lobster, the trying to think he get that first goal in the back of the net, but it's a squinty with a save out. Geordie passed into, should be denied all the same here on Coliseum. Bristol Brawlers will try and brawl their way inside that box. It has been a majority of pressure for Brawlers so far in this first game, and for the for the second game. Same can be said for the first game as well. But as you say, the shots coming in are just not going to be allowed to convert here. Bacon, some beautiful saving coming out from the Swarm side, so it's not all doom and gloom for the Bees.
Yeah, and again, Squinty was really close to being able to get in a position to make a clear. That's a good clear, straight down the stick, man. This is what we want to see. He didn't have any boosts, so he was going to struggle, but he does steal one of his opponent's 100s, so hopefully that slows this down. But we're looking at a one-on-one, squinting and straight on over. In those cases, you need to stall the ball. You don't hit it back into your opponent, you stall it on down to buy time.
So close, triple commit there on the left-hand side of the net, and the Brawlers will find their first on the board here. You can see how everybody kind of got baited in this one, that double commit in particular, and Squinty couldn't get back. And that's one of the common mistakes we see from lower level teams, is the fact that they just don't really know where to place themselves, and they often stick to one side or the other in the net.
Yep. And that's why we talk about back post rotation. So in that case, one of the lads needed to cut across in front of like what you'd imagine to be the D in football and go in through the back post so that you're not trying to get all clustered up. Notice how on the rotation the lad in the back now will be right in the middle of net and pushing up. There you go, Stickman. That's the correct one. You've just got to keep your head tuned on into that frequency all the time. Talk about tuning into a frequency. These two lads were synced up.
Yeah, Lobster to Animal. This initial touch from Luke did thought he had it, and a little bit too passive from Stickman. Couldn't wrap his way back around, couldn't bump Animal out of the way, and couldn't get control of the ball. Allowing him to swing right out from that left-hand side and get the 2-0 on the board for the Bristol Brawlers. Now it's Geordie's turn next to try and strike back off the sideboard, so the backboard should be taken away no problem. The backboard defensive pretty confident at the very least from the Swarm side. Ooh, but the back line is not quite as good as they would have thought it to be. Right inside that net, no one really going up for this ball. 3-0 for the Brawlers.
Squinty he's got to have more trust in his teammates there. It was not his ball to go for. That to me hurts a lot. And again, this is coming out from the lad who is the highest rank on the team. You've got to have trust, and if you don't have that trust, you don't go for the same ball as your teammate, you go for that backup strat. Oh, what if it doesn't connect through? Because right now, the lowest ranked player just got their goal.
Indeed he did. A good boom back into open space, and I believe that was Animal there that went for the wraparound.
Yep.
So he couldn't get to the ball either in time. So a couple of mistakes being punished there on the Brawler side. So the Swarm aren't quite leaving the easy sort of victories going the way of their opposition. Contesting heavily as Jordy moves in to the sideboard. 41 points of boost. Boom back down the field. It's Lobster that goes up. 20 points, 6 points backboard plays as Jordy gets a demo in. Animal keeps that inside the corner. Squinty also contesting, looking to get it past these two. Jordy will still contest, and well, not the best of touches coming in from Luke, dude. Actually passes it in towards Lobster. And Squinty Jr. fortunately being back there for the save, but the pressure really mounting up for the Brawlers as this ball goes right onside the line, but unable to go in the back of the net.
Oh, Squinty's just been gifted the ball there, but unfortunately can't send it that far downfield. They are struggling to work their way out of the corner here. That is a beefy clear though. That'll work great. Stickman's just got to find a teammate a bit too high. Unfortunately, he knows how the front of his car bounced into the ground, and he bounced up a little bit, lifting the ball. Just little nuances of Rocket League are hard to understand sometimes.
Oh, Lobster! Soaring overhead of everybody from the Swarm. See how he goes above Stickman here. Beating him to the punch. The last man left as the other two had committed forward. That's a fourth back for Brawlers. A 3-goal lead established by the blue side one more time.
Yeah, and Brawlers notice how they are adapting. They're getting warmed up in this series. They're making less mistakes, and they are really ramping this up. I wouldn't be surprised if this game finished, you know, as a 6-1 even, because Brawlers are starting to really hit out of the park.
A minute and 45 to get there. So far the Swarm have attempted to return to that blue half, but no such success has been found. Instead, Lost is able to dribble past. No boost available from him. He still managed to get it so far as the box. He's already there to try and follow suit, keep it within touching distance of a goal here. Play out from Luke Dude. Will also be pushed away by Lobster inside the corner. Lobster will get beaten out. Plays up, good shot again to the backboard, however will not be on target for the Swarm side. So a lot of their pressure just unable to convert the shots, unable to go to goals in this case. There's a little over a minute to go on the clock. The scoreline differential is really going to start to become a sticking factor for the Manchester Swarm.
Yeah, really impressed by what Lobster's been able to do so far here for the Brawlers. We'll notice Animal's just got to calm down a little bit. He's getting a little bit overzealous, but oh, Luke Dude close to be able to get his second. He's keeping this pressure well, but that challenge I didn't want to see right there. And those follow-up, not that great, but Brawlers getting a little bit clustered up in the corner. They've got to be careful on those.
40 seconds up here. Brawlers. Oh, what a tee off from Lobster. Oh, he pinched it off the crossbar. Oh dear, couldn't go all the way with it, and a return will come back. It actually goes to the back of the net for Squinty, so a small punish coming in from the Swarm side, but 27 seconds to score 2 goals. It's not impossible, but it's difficult.
Brawlers are getting overconfident suddenly. It's really odd. Making a few mistakes there, and good stuff from Squinty to see route to net just open for him. Takes that. 2 goals, 27 seconds is possible, but it is going to be hard.
Lobster going for the shot inside the box, taken away by Stickman, but they can't afford to have pressure against their orange back line. Good shot in from Animals, blocked off by Squinty, but the pass needs to make its way into a decent return attack. Squinty's demoed out though, so Jordy just maintains control, flicks it past one of the defenders, follow suit from Squinty. 5 seconds left, Luke Dude cannot be allowed to get control. Backboard play, shot available, no! Stickman just a little bit too far out of position, could not go for the shot on the centre line, and therefore Brawlers will be up 2-0 in this series now on match point. And the Swarm has shown signs of promise, but unable to convert those to actual, tangible goals.
That's it, and for me right now, for the Swarm, I'm really impressed by Stickman. Like we said, might be the lowest ranked player in the lobby, but he is really pulling his own weight for this side, not looking on the pitch anyway that he is of a lower rank in ranked than the other lads there. And Right now, I just want to see the trio of them using each other a lot better. Like I said earlier, there's a lot of solo clearances downfield, just trying to get the ball away. I want to see them passing between each other so that they can try and build up a bit of momentum, get downfield together, and then be in a place where they can get 2 players in front of net, which should increase their odds.
Well, the Brawlers are currently, of course, as I mentioned, on match point, so a full reversal needs to come in for the Swarm. What do they need to do to try and readjust and try and, you know, try put something more back on the backboard?
So, for me, if they are to do those clears, it has to be downfield to the backboard. You know, it's got to be a right booming clear, which I don't see many opportunities. Like, if you are to do that from that position, it's going to be off the walls so that you can, near enough, be able to get that much power. But here, that's a bit of a tough call. Like I said, just use 2 players, pass it on downfield, and they'll eventually get there.
We're going to get into game number 3, see how well they'll handle themselves there on the Swarm side. One final chance to see if the Brawlers will have their 3-0 sweep or whether the Swarm will hold on for a little bit longer here in the series. Animal to the backboard, taken away by Luke. Let's see again by Squinty and Lobster. Trying to continue to pass between each other. Again, a lot of the early game pressure favouring the Brawlers side as they disallow the Swarm to press too far forward with their own individual pacing. It's Animal again picking up the 100 from the corner, challenging on towards next player up the challenge. A nice boomer back to the midfield, but not going too much further than that here.
Yeah, and Squinty, can he get this? He is put out wide, but Geordie holds on to the line. Lobster does get a nice clearance downfield. Luke following up, and that is in front of the net, but again, rotation's a little bit off. No one able to chase it up onto that one, Jay. And Luke did so much to get in front of the net, but can't finish it off.
Well, and this gun goes up here for Geordie. Could not follow suit. Could not find a quick counter-attack or a quick return flag. Not going to happen here as well. I mean, just the midfield returns from the Swarm side are being very easily found. A lot of room being given away to the Swarm. The Brawlers unable to punch that first goal home, but again, they have got the majority of pressure, continuing to bounce this ball into positions where they can try and dismantle the positioning from the Swarm side. This dunk down from Geordie in particular, set up by Animal for a first for the Brawlers side.
Yeah, lovely little goal there. Animal putting this well high, not able to get onto that one, Luke. And so it's an easy follow-up on Geordie, able to drop that on down 1-0. Did take 1.5 minutes to come, but a very important goal indeed.
And now Animal tries to return all the same. Geordie in the midfield. Animal sets it up. Geordie up and over to the corner. Will set up to the box. Pushed away by Squinty. And Lobster also up and over of his own right. In from this corner. Will be able to play the ball up. Setting up for Geordie once again. It's got to be all down to Animal to go for the third man setup. Can only go so far as the backboard though. Should get returned by the Swarm side. But midfield control still favouring the Brawlers. A pass in from Lobster to Animal. A brilliant play to the backboard in towards Geordie to try and recover it and put it back in the centre. But beaten out by Luke due to his returns. The rotation got to come in from Lobster. He needs to get this challenge in because there's no one left in that back line for the Brawlers side. So rotation's looking decent enough. The Brawlers a little bit too exposed on the back line for my liking, but they're able to get back in time to make sure the important shots don't go in. Case in point, their stickman blocked off by Geordie, and that one to the backboard cleared away by the Brawlers.
Yeah, we're starting. Last man got beat there. Hate to see it. Stickman, you don't turn around on those. You keep going back to net because naturally your opponent's going to try and get that under his control. He's going to beat you to it first. You need to just create a bit of space so that when you can turn around, you've still got enough time to react to what your opponent's doing.
2.5 minutes on the clock, and the Brawlers. Geordie will find his way into the corner once again. Trying to beat out the likes of Squint with a beautiful shot from Lobster. Blocked off by Geordie, actually. So
he tried to Robin Hood it for himself, and sometimes you're a little bit too greedy for your own good there, Geordie.
Still from the rich and give to the poor, isn't that like, you know, wouldn't that more be the case of the Bristol Brawlers trying to give goals back to the Swarm side? Isn't that what a Robin Hood would be?
Okay, he's King Richard, I don't know in that story. But because Geordie has got the most points on his side, and, well, he's now just got even more. 659 is his score right now.
And a hat-trick of goals for the man. He is clearly the highest scorer in the server. The highest scorer for the Brawlers. 3-0 for the blue side of the core, Bacon.
Yeah, Bristol Brawlers, it's starting to look damning for Manchester Swarm right now. Brawlers have got right on into the march. You're starting to see overextensions come on out from the Swarm, going up in the air when they should just try and allow it to play out and then intercept it a little bit later on. They're worried about this pace, naturally, where they are slower players. It's just being efficient with your time, being efficient with your boost. Stuff like that, throwing out from Luke, you're just passing it on over to Geordie. There, try and like hit with the flat underneath your car so it will drop straight on down, and then hopefully a teammate can run on into it because they're closer.
Okay. I thought that challenge would have been pushed off the crossbar by a defender of the Brawlers side, but Squinty coming in with a Hail Mary play challenge. It works well for them. They first on the ball for the Swarm.
That is literally throw all tactics out of the window right now. And it seems right there that you caught Squinty mid-throw as he was flying right out of that window into the ball, in fact. Is able to make connection. It works. A follow-up from Stickman. Okay. Possibilities are forming.
Geordie missing out his touch, and this time it's the Bristol Brawlers court on one side of the net.
Good shot there, actually.
A minute to go as well. They are still within reach of the 3-0 victory in the series here, Bacon, so don't count out the Brawlers just yet, especially if Lobster's allowed his fourth goal back here. The pass in from Animal to Lobster, pass back over to Geordie. From the corner is where he'll play this out. Luke Dude beaten. It's a chance for Animal to set it up again for the backboard. Luke Dude's got to come up and challenge because this could be very dangerous. Lobster's still in position in that midfield. Tees it up and over for Geordie. Against bounce the corner board, and Geordie keeps it away from the Swarm. This allowing any chance to counter-attack because one good ball in could mean they're evens. But the demo's coming in. Animal passing back to Geordie. He didn't expect that. He thought it might have been a redirect. And that ball goes straight down the centre. Past the midfield, past the back line of the Brawlers. And we're 3-3. We're back to even.
So Animal right there had the right idea, trying to slow it on down, give it over to Geordie. But Geordie was so close on in, not expecting that amount of pop on the ball. It's cost them 3-all. Swarm somehow buzzing once again, and it is really, really ticking off the Brawlers.
Lobster passing into Animal. Luke Dude will take this one high. Play in towards the box, should be taken away by Lobster on the save, but 10 seconds left, and the Bristol Brawlers will basically be in overtime, I think, for this one, Bacon. Unless Geordie gets in with this particular ball. This ball set up actually by Luke Dude instead to the backboard, potentially on for a decent dunk. No, overtime for game 3 here. The Swarm not ready to die just yet.
Oh, I'm excited for this one. If Swarm can pull this back, I know everyone is hoping for it at home, but that is anticlimactic, and that is the real villain story right there. But who knows? Will Swarm come back stronger? We'll have to find out in future weeks, because tonight it is all done and dusted. Bristol Brawlers are taking this in a 3-0.
Well, the bees are extinct, Bacon. The Swarm have crumbled at the very last hurdle. They were all caught on the left-hand side
redemption arc.
again.
The whole story was there, and just... Nah, let's put this in.
It's like, it wasn't even like it was an incredible play or anything like that. It was just the fact that they were all on the left-hand side of the net. It's just like, oh man, why?
Why not like this?
Not
you
like
hate to see it.
Not like this. Unfortunately, it is like that. The Swarm are down 3-0. The Brawlers are up once again with another victory on their board here. The Swarm just getting caught off a little bit unlucky, I want to say, because there were some moments where I thought, okay, this team is actually showing some signs of decency here, Bacon.
Yeah, definitely. Swarm coming on back in, like with the Leviathans in a lot of sense, just of a higher level. They were adjusting to the Brawlers. They were finding ways around them, especially in that last minute, where it's just saying, okay, we've got to go rapid pace, use a lot of the walls, and intercept, try and think ahead of time where that ball is going to be. And they finally got it together. Who knows, if they can replicate that last minute and a half into their future games, Swarm will be dangerous.
Yeah, I can see a lot of potential in this side as well. I'm just excited to see how far they go with that one. I mean, that third game, for example, was close for a reason, I want to say that, Bacon. But those are all potential questions to answer in weeks to come. But tonight, though, we are all done for Arena Clash Week 3 Rocket League. Couple of good victories, I want to say, for the Brawlers and for the Lionhearts, especially for the Brawlers as well, considering that was a very tough sort of like a little affair.
That keeps them up top of their group, which you look at them, you're like, they're dangerous right now.
And Lionhearts starting to catch up with the Stratford Spartans again, the beast from the east of East London, I want to say. It's not east of England. Oh, sorry, it's my local.
You could go much further east than
easily, easily. But I think, might it be the most eastward arena we have? Colchester. Thanks for that. Not quite, but east enough, I want to say.
Yeah, definitely.
But certainly east of where Kingston's at. But that's just whatever.
You're going on a tangent.
We're going off on a tangent. We need to get out of here. So once again, I want to thank you very much for joining us here on the Belong Arena Clash, whether you are here earlier from the Gears of War segment or here for Rocket League just at the 8 p.m. marker. And of course, we'll be back next week for even more of that action at the same time, same place at twitch.tv/Belong Arenas. But until that point, I've been the Eternal J. This has been Digital Bacon. Any final words before we head off?
We found out what Layla's picture was. It was a cat's ear. Who would have thought? It's okay. Whatever you want your profile picture to be, we'll allow.
Thanks for tweeting us that, by the way, Layla. I really appreciate it. Anyways, we're going to get off your screens. We're going to get out of your ears, and we'll see you back here next week for even more of the Arena Clash action.